feed babies a lot of wheat. We give them milk formulas. We give them a lot of mandazis and samosas. We give them noodles. We give them pasteurized milk because we want to summarize parenting. Ladies, parenting is a full-time job. Motherhood is a full-time job. It's a full-time job. So if you want to make it part-time, you're not ready for motherhood. You're not ready. If you still want independence in that marriage, you are in the wrong one. Why? Because you're there for a reason. There are things that men can do and there are things that men cannot do. So if you get into a marriage, you give birth to a child, and then 3 months down the line, you've already employed a house help. No wonder all these issues of house help slapping your babies are happening all over. Because you fail to take responsibilities. You actually prioritize your career over parenting. You hardly see these babies. How many have you seen? How many ladies have you seen? Specifically, these ladies in the media. How many have you seen who actually are so caught up in their profession and alcoholism, and they don't even know what their child is going through? A lady takes 2 weeks before they see their children. Has a 1-year-old baby, but 2 weeks down the line, you've not seen that child. Who is raising that baby? And then now you want us to sympathize with you. You want us to act as though, hey, this is so bad. How can a nanny step on a child like that? How can a nanny punish a child like that? But where were you as the mother? Where were you? Where were you when that child was being slapped? And these are questions that men need to ask their women, their wives. When a child is born, first things first, the first layer of immunity comes from the vaginal bacteria. That should be understood. Number 2, breast milk. So 6 months straight of breast milk. No excuses. Ladies, no excuses. 6 months straight. No even water. Breast milk has all the nutrients that your baby requires for growth and development. 6 months straight. But most of you start giving babies milk from a goat or from a cow or pasteurized milk. At the 3rd month, you're already tired of breastfeeding. So feed your child with your breast milk, yours. Not products from a company. You know those milk formulas? And maybe when I say milk formulas, some of you cannot understand it. Milk formulas are rich in soy. Milk formulas are rich in processed protein. Milk products are rich in fructose. Tell me what nutritional value is these 3? Nothing. Soy is going to change the males into females because it's estrogen. The supplements that are there, the protein supplements that are there, are even highly inflammatory. They are so processed, they don't have any nutritional value. The sugar in there is going to make a fatty liver in these babies. But hospitals have come up with the new formula, of course, the one that tastes like groundnuts. And now you're giving your children, because you're unable to feed your children with healthy foods that we'll talk about. So you have to go and take that supplement and give your babies. And then now these babies are growing fat. So you celebrate a baby growing fat, thinking they are healthy. But they want you back. So when you take that supplement and the baby takes it for about 2 weeks, of course, the 3rd week you're in hospital with flu, with cough, with asthma, and of course, drugs after drugs after drugs after drugs. You expect these babies to survive. Now you start feeding the babies. Remember this. When the baby loses those milk teeth, when the baby gets off those milk teeth, they start growing healthy teeth, the molars, the canines, so that they can eat healthy foods, the meats, and they can digest fiber. But you guys give babies fiber and the oats and the cereals, the breakfast cereals plus milk, before they even shed the milk teeth. So you want them to, and that's what hospitals are telling you, that feed your children with cereals and milk is healthy. Even the food industry understands that. That's why it puts those milk formulas and puts those cereals with milk, an advert that has children. What foods do you feed your child? Let's take an example, breakfast. Is it so hard to feed this child? Well, possibly when these children you're already starting to wean them off milk. Does Do you really need to give them soda, juices, milk from a cow, tea, and all these things? Do you need that? Why don't you consider bone broth, the bone soup? Why don't you consider avocado juice? So this can be a breakfast, or this can be foods that you start initiating or weaning the baby to. You give them the bone broth, which is a superfood. You give them the avocado juices. Now, most of you will tell me, my baby cannot take that. Listen. Babies are one of the most adaptive human beings or species on this earth. On this universe, babies adapt so fast. And babies learn by observation and imitation. So when you are a woman and you're eating 5 meals a day, your baby will eat 5 meals a day and even more. Because the insulin levels in this child are so misbehaving. And that is courtesy of you as a woman. How can you eat 4 meals a day and snack in between and expect to give birth to a baby and raise a baby who is eating 2 meals a day? It's not possible. It's not possible. So don't tell us, my baby eats 5 meals a day. No, you eat 5 meals a day and your baby imitates what you're doing. And most of you don't count snacking as eating. Which food for baby weaning? Bone broth, very important. Breast milk has to be part of it also. You have to continue with the breast milk. It's actually called complementary feeding. So you have to include the breast milk there. Avocado juices, mashed beans, the egg yolks, the butternuts. Butternut is a very good food in children because it gives them a very good flowing stool and a bowel movement. The pumpkins, give them water now that they need it. Mash those nuts. Give them the porridge that has groundnuts. Groundnut porridge is very good. Even millet porridge. And I see most of you being told, you cannot give babies porridge because their guts have not adapted. And then the same people who tell you to stop giving them porridge, the same people who give you milk formulas. Yes, green bananas. You can mash green bananas and just mix it with soup, and your baby will enjoy this. These babies love these foods, and they will adapt to those foods. But you cannot tell a baby who is 4 years to start dropping the sugars. You cannot tell them, now sugar is not good for you. Drop the sugars. When this baby has been drinking soda, eating chocolate, eating sweets from the time they started weaning, you can't, because sugar is highly addictive. You cannot wean your baby on wheat products and then expect to tell them not to eat the same wheat. And God is merciful. God gave these people, these babies, very healthy immune systems. Even though you mess them through CS, you mess them through diets, these babies will still survive. They go out and eat dust. They go out and play with mud. They play with fur. They play with pets, but they never suffer these conditions. But guess what? You gave birth through CS, a sterile technique. You did not give your baby the healthy foods, even the breast milk. You are always keeping your baby on antibiotics, so you're altering their gut flora. And then you give them milk formulas and the processed cereals and the sugars, so more mess in the gut. And then this baby comes out with asthma. And guess what you're told? That asthma is actually coming from fur, pollen, dust. And now you're busy sanitizing every surface. You even sell that cat or that dog, that pet, because this pet is the one that brought asthma to my baby. That pet did not bring asthma. Understand this, that actually that pet would have been the reason why your baby will not suffer from asthma. Did you know that? Because exposure to microorganisms, exposure to pets, exposure to fur, pollen, dust, mud, these are things that build the immune system of your baby. But most of you, you're always trying to keep your baby in-house, and then you sanitize all the tables with that liquid soap. You want to sanitize every table. You want to sanitize everything they play, and then you give them a phone. Now they're busy on YouTube. You're raising zombies. You're raising zombies. A child, by the time they are 6, they know every channel on Netflix. They know every program on TV. But give them a very simple sum. They need a calculator. And of course, they will ask you for the phone so that they can use a phone calculator. They cannot do anything. You're taking now this product written on 99%. That's what you're scanning into the supermarkets. Whatever you saw on TV is what you're going to scan in the supermarkets to just buy. Feed your babies with whole foods, natural foods, foods that actually help their bodies to just boost the immunity and to actually, they work with the bodies, not they work against the bodies. But what do you feed your children? Soda can never lack there. Biscuits are there. Chocolates are there. Juices are there. Chips and chicken, of course. So when this baby is trying to grow, possibly at the 4th month, they start getting those 2 teeth from down there, and you see another 2 teeth coming from up, and then some molars there, and all these things. These babies are enjoying the growth process. But when they are teething, sometimes they get an infection and they start getting a diarrhea. So of course, teething process is actually hectic to these babies. Those when they are budding, the teeth are budding into the gums and they are coming out. It's a stubborn process. So they might end up becoming so irritable and they want to bite everything. They will even bite your nipples. But when you get a child getting a diarrhea because of teething, that is an infection. Treat it. Treat it. Go find help. Let the child be treated. Because teething process is a natural process. It cannot affect or harm the baby to an extent that they're getting dehydration, they're getting the diarrhea. No. But of course, that happens all the time, right? And do you know why? Some of that diarrhea is not even because of the teething, it's because of the antibiotic use. So when you overuse that antibiotic, you start getting a diarrhea because you've messed up the gut environment. And of course, when you get that diarrhea, you get another one, metronidazole, which is still an antibiotic. Problems. So now your child is now sitting upright, they can hold their neck straight, and now they start looking at you eating. When you're taking food from a plate, they are following that food, that hand with their eyes. That's the time you start realizing, oh, this one is ready for eating now. Because they'll communicate to you through these signs. They'll communicate to you through these signs. Now you can start feeding them all these healthy foods. Mash that butternut and give that child and see how they enjoy that food. Instead of giving them lollipop, mash that pumpkin and give it to them. Use that groundnut flour to make some porridge for them and let them feed on their own. Give them some spoon here so that they can exercise. They can follow what you're doing. And this becomes a healthy baby. You just enjoy them growing. But you're taking a bowl and adding in soda, adding in juice, and you want this child to take it. And then you're encouraging this child. You start telling this child, tam, tam, tam. That one is sweet. Throw that one is not sweet. It's a bad one. It's bitter. So this child already knows sugar is sweet. Every other thing is bitter. But if you were born and told that salt is sweet, you will know salt is sweet all through. So somebody put that in your head, that sugar is sweet. And the nutrition and the food industry understood that assignment perfectly. Guess what they did? They have the best professors in nutrition, the best doctors to just propagate their agenda. So they come out with these studies of healthy foods in children and they publish it and you run to read them and now you're giving your children those formulas. They study behavior. The best psychologists who have studied behavior, they know that moment in time when your child, everything goes into the mouth. Instead of giving this child possibly a very just light carrot or a cucumber so that they can bite on and just learn from that, you're giving this child either lollipop or you're giving them something so unhealthy, or you're even stopping them from doing that. So that is the time that these professors studied and understood that when this child, everything is going into their mouth, that is when they're developing the sense of taste. So that time is very critical for these babies, because when you advise or encourage them to eat sweet things, they develop that sense of sweetness in their mouth, and then their dopamine levels start getting messed up. So they start getting their reward of eating good foods. You actually reward them by telling them, "Tam," they eat it, and then they smile. They eat it and smile, and now they start knowing, oh, this. So when they start asking you for it, you cannot deny them, because of course you are eating the same things. You're eating the same things. So in the morning, you can give your child bone broth, avocado juice, or even the soups, just chicken soup or all these foods that are healthy, even meat soup. And then let them play. Babies are not small adults. Don't overfeed them. Let them play. Let the baby play around with pets, dust, mud, and let them play outside. Because through interaction with this environment, they get to boost their immunity. Because remember, an immune system works by keeping memory. So if you want an immune system work properly, allow it to have a memory. So where will it get the memory from? It has to get an exposure to a microorganism so that now it keeps the memory. And then the next time that microorganism attacks it, it knows that this one I can handle it. This one I know, I can recall this one. Then kills it. That's how the immune grows stronger. But if you keep your child off the fur, off the pets, off the dust, off the pollen, off the mud, and then you sit them in a sterile house, you're weakening the immune system. You're actually going to cause them more the asthma. Asthma is an inflammatory condition, same to eczema and all these skin conditions. Fix the inflammation by dropping seed oils, sugar, and wheat in children. Your babies deserve better. Wheat is highly inflammatory. Processed foods are highly inflammatory. Cooking these children's meals in seed oils is highly inflammatory. Giving children sugar is going to mess their gut and their brains. So drop those things first. Once you've dropped that, and you cannot drop them in children and you're eating them. It's not possible. That's why I told you, for you to prepare to raise this child in a healthy way, you must start from the pregnancy. Before you even get pregnant, you must have adapted. You must have been eating healthy foods. You must be eating the complex carbohydrates, the animal proteins, the vegetables, and the avocados. You must be fasting so that you have a strong immunity. You also prepare yourself for the pregnancy. And then when you take in this baby, that continue with eating healthy foods. And as you continue with eating healthy foods, you will have a very soft pregnancy. You will give birth naturally, so you'll actually help and assist your child. And then now you'll have enough breast milk for 6 months in a row. And then you'll start weaning your children to healthy foods. And guess what? Hospital gates will not see you.